on this day, the 28th of January, 1671. Panama is destroyed by fire after being sacked by Henry Morgan, a British privateer. This was due to a war between Spain and England. Panama was so badly damaged that they moved the site of the city to the present day Panama, and the old Panama now still lies in ruins and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. An Anglo-Spanish war had begun in late 1654. In Europe, the conflict ended with the Treaty of the Pyrenees between France and Spain, and King Charles II of England's restoration in 1660, but a treaty had never been signed. The conflict in the Caribbean began with an English attempt on Hispaniola and a subsequent invasion and capture of Jamaica. So the conflict in the Caribbean continued even as the war in Europe had petered out and ended. Henry Morgan, based in Jamaica, had been given a letter of marque by the governor of Jamaica. A letter of marque was basically allowing him to go and seize Spanish ships and destroy Spanish settlements. And so Henry Morgan had been going around the Caribbean. One of his famous battles and sackings was of a place called Portobello, which was in Panama, where eventually we get Portobello Road in London from. He also went to Maracaibo, destroyed a Spanish fleet in Lake Maracaibo, sacked a few cities on the shores, and one of his most daring things, although less profitable, was the sacking of Old Panama. Old Panama had been founded in 1519 with 100 different settlers. It was the first permanent Spanish settlement on the Pacific coast, and made a city by royal proclamation in 1521. It eventually became a staging point for expeditions to Peru, so Pizarro would have passed through, and gold and silver going back to Spain would come through Panama. It became a center of Genoese settlement, and Genoa was an ally and banker to Spain at the time. So there was large Italian population, considering its size. It became quite a large settlement with convents, chapels, a hospital, a cathedral, so it became quite a major settlement, and by the time Henry Morgan turned up, there was about 10,000 people living there. So by the standards of the day, a very large, bustling city. They had been attacked by pirates and privateers before, and by Indians from Darien, but on the 28th of January, 1671, this was going to be the worst attack they had ever experienced. Henry Morgan had 1,400 men with him. They marched through the jungles over from the Caribbean side, so from Portobello, and they came down on the city, attacked it, overwhelmed the defences of the city very quickly, and then began to sack it. A fire started at some point during the sacking. It's not known whether Morgan or one of his men started a fire, or whether the Captain General, Don Juan Perez de Guzman, ordered the gunpowder magazines to be blown up, perhaps as a way to prevent Morgan getting everything that he wanted, or maybe trying to kill some of his men. Estimated that thousands died during the attack, and the city so badly destroyed that they couldn't rebuild. After the sacking of Panama, it became known that the Treaty of Madrid had been signed between England and Spain some weeks before. The Spanish were outraged at the attack. The other attacks they were okay with because they were officially at war, so you can only expect conflict to happen. But the sack of Panama was something that shouldn't have happened. Henry Morgan swore blind that he didn't know about the Treaty of Madrid, and eventually he got off, but to placate the Spanish, he was arrested and brought back to London. However, in London he was treated as a hero, because he'd been attacking the Spanish and taking their gold, and Henry Morgan became a very wealthy man because of that. Bought quite 3 plantations on Jamaica, and was acting governor at various times, and was a member of the House of Assembly in Jamaica. So he was a powerful, wealthy man after taking all that Spanish gold and silver. However, he was tried, but he was found not guilty because they believed, or at least pretended to believe, that he didn't know that the Treaty of Madrid had been signed before his sacking of Panama. He would then be sent back to Panama with a knighthood, Jamaica with a knighthood, and he got rich and fat off his estates and died many years later, a very happy, healthy, well, not healthy, happy, fat, rich man. For the Panamanians, things weren't great for a couple of years. They had to rebuild a new city a few miles north, that's probably more west. Panama's a funny shaped country, where modern day Panama City stands today. The ruins of the old city are now within the suburbs of Panama itself, so once again, old Panama has become part of Panama. If you like these videos, come back tomorrow for more. Subscribe, like, and leave a comment.